Hello there guys, welcome back to another video. I thought with limited notice coming out today, I thought I'd do something that I've wanted to do a little while, and that's like a minimal gear camp. So it's a 5-item challenge, let's say. People have done this before and they kind of play it by their own rules, so I'll go through what I've got with me shortly. I've got warm, waterproof, weatherproof clothing, jacket, which you'd have on in winter anyway if you're out and about. Was quite hot to walk in with it all on, but I am here. I didn't want to cheat and bring extra clothing or anything. Up here there's no water source, so I have got extra water with me. Other than that, I've got my camera gear obviously, and I've got a first aid kit, which is just in case because I'm up here on my own. So I need to get camp sorted really. It's the first thing I've got to do. Get some shelter up. It's been spitting a little bit today, so it could rain at any time. Just look around here for a good spot, and we'll use my first item, which is my tarp. Tool number 2, my saw. Rain has just started, so I'm going to put the camera under here while I put up the other corner and have a bit more room to work with. Well, the rain seems to have stopped for the moment. Tied off that corner to the downed tree over there. Seems to do a good job. It's the exact right height because it's the same as the ridgeline. And yeah, just used this on this side. Just had to readjust the peg a bit just to get it nice and taut. But that's the shelter up. It's quite uneven here, so I'm thinking I'm going to do a bit of a raised bed. I think there's enough stuff around here. This is near my old campsite where I had all that birch that had been coppiced. So I'm just going to use that and try and make a somewhat flat raised bed. I think we're falling off that way and this way a bit, so got a smaller bit to go this side. That'll be fine. I'll probably have to shim them this end. It doesn't look like much yet, but I've shimmed the front here to try and bring it a bit more level, and same on the back, and it looks about level to me. So I'll just kind of peg it in place and just quickly saw some kind of slats for the bed, and I think we'll be all right. I think that's more or less the right size. Seeing as the sun is rapidly going down, I'm going to call that it. I might rearrange a couple of the bigger ones at the head end and use my empty pack as a pillow later tonight. But that's good, just need a little bit of padding. There's quite a lot of moss around, so I think I'm just going to put some moss on. I've got waterproof clothing on the jacket and the trousers, so later tonight when I'm on it, the moisture in the moss isn't going to cause me any problems. Took talking about moisture, it's time for my next item, item number 4. So important to keep hydrated. I've got this metal stainless steel bottle, so I can boil it up later. I can have some hot water, and I can even put it with me, huddle up to it in bed. But yeah, that's item number 4. It's a container to be able to boil water in. Like I said, there's no water source up here, so I can't do any purifying or anything. I've just got an extra litre with me, and I'll only use this for drinking and boiling and stuff, so it's the only thing I can do in this particular location. Oh, I need to collect some moss. I'm going to use my tarp bag inside out to collect more moss than I can carry. Could have made this just a tad higher. So I've put on here just enough to take the edge off, really. I'm only here for one night and it's not a real survival situation or anything. I can go home tomorrow and have a nap if I want, but I might put some more on later. But the more I put on here, the more I've got to redistribute tomorrow, because I'm practicing leave no trace. Yes, that's probably going to do. Achieved quite a lot in such a short time. Firewood will be the next thing before the light's gone. Maybe a fire reflector as well. But I'm pretty happy so far. It's pretty good to have a bed that's also a source of tinder. Lots of birch bark that I'll collect up. That was quite a change in the weather. It was raining, now it's really nice and sunny. Put up this fire reflector. I always say fire reflector, but it's more for wind protection and concealment, things like that really. It doesn't do much reflecting, I'm sure it does some. But yeah, I'm just going to clear the ground here. This is just, I don't know, 3 feet from the edge of my tarp, something like that. And yeah, hopefully I'll feel the benefit. There's just so much deadfall about from the storms we've had and stuff that's hung up, etc. So I'm going to find a load of kindling. What I'll do is collect extra kindling, because if that fire goes down in the night and I wake up, I'm going to want to get it going again, and having this at hand is going to be really helpful. I've got all my offcuts from the work I've been doing today over that side, and I'll probably cut up some bigger stuff, maybe batten down some nice dry stuff as well. I've prepared my fire lay. I've just put down a few pieces just to keep the fire up off the wet, muddy, cold ground. This is the birch bark I've collected from around camp. This is very papery and dry, so this should go up quite easily. From the last item, item number 5, is my ferro rod. So if I grab my knife, I've got all my kindling at hand. I'll bring over the first stage, so it's right here, ready. And here we go. This is nice and stabilised at the front here, so there's somewhere to put my ferro rod. So a few strikes and we're there. Just establish that for a moment, and then I'll use that brace at the back to start bracing the smaller twigs so it doesn't completely smother it. And as soon as they start to take, I'm going to begin to add my second stage, which is just a little fatter. Okay, that's taken some real nannying, this fire, to get going. I think I'm safe now. It started raining as well, so I just moved the camera under the tarp for a moment. But yeah, I think we're starting to establish here. As long as I can get this dry stuff lit that I battened down. And there's all of our items in shot. The tarp at the back there, the Laplander, the Condor bush lure, the ferro rod, and the water bottle, which I'll pre-boil up when I start to get a bit colder. Our fire's going. I can hear the rain starting on the tarp again, so I can actually chill for a minute as the sun goes down. Well, I wanted to test myself a bit today. I wanted to see what I could do with limited daylight and limited equipment, and I'm quite happy with what I've achieved. Got the shelter up, bed made, nice and cosy. Got a fire reflector, I've got some firewood, I've got the fire going, and yeah, I'm happy. Sun's going down now. Hopefully this rain won't carry on, so I can have this fire going a bit easier. But yeah, I'm quite happy with what I've achieved in this time. Now, laws and all of that, I can't go hunting here, so I've brought one thing to eat with me. I've not brought anything to cook it on or anything like that. I just brought a steak to represent, maybe I called a pheasant or something. So I just bought that. So I'll be cooking that directly on the coals, caveman style, because there's little other ways of doing it. I could set up, you know, things to hold it above and stuff like that, but I'm just going to do it directly on the coals. It's a nice way to do a steak anyway. And I'll probably break down a piece of wood to use like a plate. But for now, this rain's really picking up, so I'm going to chill under the shelter, warmth of the fire here, and watch the sun go down. Good couple of hours have passed now. My fire I've stretched out into more of a long fire, and it's putting out some heat. I think this being kind of a foil lined tarp helps as well, but I've not got the coat on at the moment, or the hat even, and I'm quite comfortable in here in the shelter. Yeah, it's nice. Gonna keep this fire going for a bit more. I don't want to eat too early. I kind of want to eat before I go to bed, heat up some water, so that's kind of warming me from the inside. But yeah, nothing really to report on a camp like this, I guess. That's probably one of the hard things is, you know, the solitude, the not having jobs. I've been trying not to use like the filming light to do any other jobs. I processed as much wood as I can in the last light, and that's kind of all the job's done really, so it's just chilling out. I probably will collect a bit more moss just to make this a bit more comfortable, but yeah, next job's probably going to be cooking my steak. Going to attempt to drag out some coals now. This fire is so hot. It's been going a good while now. Just get some of these coals out for the steak. Try and push this back a bit as well. Well, I've got my steak, so I'm just going to stick it on the coals here. Still seems quite hot, but I need to get it cooking really. The old steak on the makeshift plate.
Scrape off some of them coals. It's looking quite good. It smells lovely. Just going to let it rest for a minute on here and then tuck in. Well, I can't leave this too long to rest because it is probably 0 degrees tonight. It's not stupid cold. It has been quite a mild winter altogether, really. Oh, that looks good. I'll cut a few bits off. Yeah, nice and pink. Oh yes, for a rump steak that didn't cost too much, that's delicious. Oh, I like that. You get the odd little crunchy bit on the outside from the coals. It kind of adds to it. It's getting quite late now. I've been kind of laying on semi in my coat because the warmth from the fire is not too bad. It's yeah, I think I said it's probably about 0. Very clear night, beautiful night actually when you look up at the stars. But I'm going to try and get a bit of shut eye, and I'll probably speak to you guys in the morning. We'll see how I get through. I've got lots of wood ready so I can throw it on the fire, which I'm probably going to have to do a few times. Forgot to do my hot water bottle, so I'm just going to heat that up. Good morning.
thought this morning I'd get up and make myself some pine needle tea. I found some on the floor, probably from the storm when I went to try and capture a sunrise. Didn't really happen. To be honest, wasn't a bad night, all things considered. I got the odd hour sleep, I think, tending the fire. Only really chilled down when I was away from the fire, when the fire died down, but it was quite bearable. Yeah, it was an interesting experiment. The bed was a success. It's not something I had to do to be able to do this kind of 5 item sort of challenge, but I thought I'd kind of make it a bit more interesting than that. But I've not slept on a raised bed since my lean-to shelter, and it was quite nice. I never did like a moss mattress on that. It compresses quite a lot. I would have ideally had twice as much on there, but it was still pretty comfortable. It was only in the morning it started to kind of get some hot spots, but yeah, real success. It was very comfortable, and you get more heat from that fire as well with the raised mattress, with the raised bed. One thing I really did miss was my work gloves. You don't really realise how useful they are till they're gone, like working around the fire especially, and cooking, as well as kind of getting materials and sawing and stuff. You really do notice the difference. So yeah, it's good to find out what you miss and what you can make do without. Interesting experiment. But for now I'm going to have to take some of this down. Well, here we go. That was the fire, and the bed was there. I've left one bit there because it doesn't really matter. And as we found it. And that's it, a winter overnighter with just these 5 items. Before anyone else says, I'll address things. There was cordage attached to the tarp, so I'm not counting it as separate because pretty much everyone has cordage on their tarp. The water, as I said before, I can't change that situation up here because there is no water supply up here. I guess the only other thing that someone could mention is the bag itself that I brought this stuff up in, but that was more for the photography equipment, to be quite honest, and I didn't end up using it as a pillow anyway. So yeah, these 5 items, winter overnighter. Hope you enjoyed it. Well, thanks for watching. I've wanted to do something like this for a while. Did plan to do it in maybe autumn or spring, but I thought winter's more of a challenge, isn't it? I will do more in the future. I'll change up the 5 items, or maybe even go with less. Maybe take an axe instead of a saw and a knife, things like that. And yeah, well, let's see how it goes. So thanks very much for watching, and I'll see you on the next one. Goodbye.